He'll be a tough challenge for me just because his hand and wrists are as strong, if not stronger, in the areas that I normally dominate.
So John Brzenk was on a podcast with Engin, and he was asked about his match with Alexey Voevoda. This is what he had to say about it.
He'll be a tough challenge for me just because his hand and wrists are as strong, if not stronger, in the areas that I normally dominate in my matches. So doing what I normally would do to 90% of the people, I'm not going to be able to do to Alexey. I'm almost going to probably have to develop my hooking ability.
So he's almost giving away his game plan that he's going to develop his hooking capability more and focus on that as opposed to his normal hand control with his hand, which is so dominant, the pronation through the thumb and controlling the hand. But Alexey being that strong in that area, John is basically saying openly that he's going to develop his hook. I'm wondering if this is him giving away his game plan potentially, if Alexey, wondering if he has anything to say about this. I'm wondering if Alexey is watching stuff like this and paying attention and knows what he needs to work on.
And maybe possibly try to, make sure that it gets turned into a hook at some point in the match. Because, pronating through his hand, there's probably, maybe Devin could do it. There's very few people I think that will be able to do it.
I think your pronator is good enough for that. I think.
Okay. So Engin is disagreeing with John that John's pronator is good enough to pronate through the hand of Alexey, but John seems to think very highly of Alexey's pronator and hand control here.
I don't know. We'll try.
If you put the game to the neutral wrist position, because he is good when he is using his wrist. Some people like me, the same, we need to have the cupping.
Right.
But you can still pull this way. If you come to the same point like that,
so
you put...
Engin basically is saying that he's got to keep Alexey's wrist in a straight position. You can't let him get cupped in down on top of the wrist. He has to be in a straight position. So John has to use that thumb-based pronation, maybe even with his wrist slightly back to apply enough side pressure to keep Alexey out of that cupped position is what Engin is saying here.
Directly, then you just need to neutralize.
I've kind of evolved into that kind of arm wrestler. I've never really been good at that knuckles high back pressure type, put pressure on my opponent's wrist for a length of time to try to to break through. But it has worked in the last I seem to run out of gas. It's not my old style.
Yeah, that was the same style that he used when he faced Dennis. If you guys remember, he was in more of a defensive position, almost with his own wrist slightly back, him trying to pronate and attack the wrist of Dennis. But obviously Dennis was too strong in that match. But this style for John has been pretty effective in some of his recent super matches, as opposed to if you look at a lot of earlier footage of John Brzenk, he used a lot of hooking, a lot of inside, and his style has seemed to evolve big time.
Or I would just dominate through top roll. So it'll be interesting. I'll be excited to do it for sure. It's still.
I saw you doing this during those Taras matches. The Taras was all the time his incredible top roller, so he was hitting from there. So instead of trying to catch him and lose everything, you were also pronated, and even you didn't have super wrist control. You were still beating with a pronated side pressure. Those years, I remember you started develop, and I saw you doing the same exact thing to Denis Siplenko when you beat him in 2009. And he was pulling, and you were still.
Which is what he tried to do in the rematch, but wasn't able to win there.
I couldn't quite pull that off in Dubai. I felt like it was almost there. It was close, but the amount of energy I was expending to trying to establish that, I had no gas left in the tank. He's in good shape. So it'll be an interesting match to see him and Devin go at it. I have a feeling Devin will be able to outlast him.
And that's going to be on the same card. The Devin versus Saplenkov match is going to be on the same card in October as Brzenk versus Voevoda. So that's going to be an epic arm wrestling event. Those are legendary matches right there. And I'm sure there'll be a bunch of other insane matches. These East versus West promotions have been absolutely fantastic when it comes to so many high-level matches. It's really a treat to watch as someone who loves arm wrestling. Now, Alexey Voevoda has been posting a lot of videos, a lot of training videos, even hinting at his return. Well, now it's very public, it's official that they have a match, but even in shorts here, He has like little highlight videos of him talking about him returning, and then like there's, yeah, I didn't play the whole video there, but then there's old clips of him when he was younger arm wrestling, and he's seemingly taking this very serious. Now, I put out a poll the other day to see what you guys think, who's going to win this match. Let's see what you guys had to say. So it was 73% Brzezinski as the favorite, which to me is actually pretty surprising considering that Voevoda is a lot younger than Brzezinski. I think about 15 years younger, something like that. I was talking to Pavlo about this on the Arm Wrestling Buzz podcast last week. So Voevoda's like 15 years younger, which plays a factor. There's no way that doesn't play a factor. But again, Brzezinski, overwhelming favorite on this poll. Out of 5,000 votes, he's 73% the favorite. Let's see what some of the comments are here. I really, really hope that people realize that John is still and will always be the GOAT, regardless of what happens on these matches when he's like 60 years old. Oh, that's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Yeah. I think Alexey, also due to his younger age, has significantly more weightlifting strength and power than John. Yep, I believe so too. But in his videos, we barely see him pull with strong training partners. That's true. He only posts workout and weightlifting videos. He should focus more on table practice until October. Yes, I would love to see some recent table training footage from Alexey. We haven't really seen any of that except for him pulling with beginners, so that is definitely something I would like to see. Shows how good John is if he's still able to compete after all those wars, at almost 60 years, that's for sure. Both past their prime, but I think Brzezinski is in better form. Well, he's competed more recently, so it's easier to go off of his matches. Alexey, his last match is 2015 against Breslin, which he lost, and so it's harder to know where he's at. Again, another reason why I want to see him posting some type of training footage, maybe with Denis, Saplankov, or Davids. I believe he may be somewhere near Moscow. I know Saplankov seems to train in that Moscow area, so I'm sure he's probably doing some underground training with some of these guys, I would assume. I mean, it would be hard for me to believe that he's not training with some strong guys to prepare for John Brzezinski, because that would be very surprising if he wasn't. Tough call. Alexey had John's number in the past, but now I'm not sure. Alexey all day. Love the GOAT, but different horsepower here, lads. John got this. Voevoda will be too much for John, sadly. Voevoda will win. I can't even pick one. 26%. How many Russian bots are in here? So in the comment section, it seems like it's a little bit more divided. Some people thinking John will win, some people thinking Alexey will win, but the poll said otherwise. The poll said 73% for John Brzezinski, which is an overwhelming favorite. I'm not so sure that he should be that high of an overwhelming favorite, especially you heard even John Brzezinski in the interview saying it's going to be a tough match for him. He's going to have to try and hook in and potentially avoid the hand and pronation of Alexey Voevoda. At least that's what he was saying. And Engen was disagreeing on that. But what do you guys think about this? I'm curious to hear what you think about this assessment of what's going on. And exciting times. This October arm wrestling card for East versus West is going to be incredible. Devin and Saplankov, and then Brzezinski and Voevoda. Just incredible stuff for arm wrestling. Thanks for watching. More videos coming all the time. I love arm wrestling, and I'm going to keep grinding. Appreciate everyone watching.